At 23:01 Central European Time, the order becomes official. Stop fighting. And you'd think that's the clean ending, right? Like fade to black, credits, everybody hugs, done. But the last 24 hours before that moment, that's where the ending gets messy. Like the world is trying to close a door, but the door keeps bouncing back open. Because on paper, the war is already decided, but on the ground, the war is still a machine with momentum. So today, we're doing this as a countdown. One day, one clock, and millions of people living inside the same question. Is it really over? Or are we just hoping it's over? And I promise, this isn't going to be one of those, here's a date, here's a date, here's a date videos. We're going to live inside the last day. The rumors, the radio static, the celebrations that feel too early, the fear that feels too late. Here's the key detail that creates all the tension. The surrender is signed, but it's scheduled to take effect later. Not instantly, later at 23:01 on May 8th. So Europe spends almost an entire day in a strange in-between state, where the war is ending, but not everywhere, and not all at once. You know what's funny? We always imagine history like it's one neat line, but real life is more like a group chat. Someone says, "It's over," and half the people stop talking, and one guy keeps typing paragraphs anyway. Except in this case, the paragraphs are bullets. So, rewind. We start at 23:01 on May 7th, 24 hours to go. And if you want to understand the last day, you have to understand one thing. It's not just a military ending. It's a communication problem, a human problem, a fear problem. Because an order can exist and still not reach everyone. An order can reach everyone and still not be believed. And an order can be believed and still not be obeyed. Keep this in your head because it explains everything you're about to see. The last day isn't dangerous because people don't know the war is ending. It's dangerous because not everyone ends it at the same time. Now, imagine being a civilian in a city that's been living under war rules for years. You don't go out at night. You ration food. You flinch at sudden sounds like it's a reflex. And then you hear it. It's ending. Do you celebrate? Or do you wait for proof? Because the last thing you want is to step outside too early and find out the world hasn't gotten the memo yet. And on the other side, imagine being a soldier at a checkpoint or on a road at night. You hear rumors, not official orders, rumors. I heard it's signed. I heard it's tomorrow. I heard it's tonight. But the ground still shakes. Trucks still move. Somebody still fires a weapon somewhere far away. So you ask the most exhausting question a human can ask. Can I relax? Or will relaxing get me killed? That's the emotional landscape of the last day. Half relief, half adrenaline that doesn't know how to shut off. Hour 24. At the top, headquarters, radios, teletypes, the news begins moving fast. At the bottom, roads, villages, forests, it moves slowly. Sometimes it doesn't move at all. Because armies don't stop like a car. They stop like a train. Even if the brakes are pulled, momentum is still momentum. Now the news reaches places like Britain quickly. The radio breaks in. Victory in Europe Day will be tomorrow, and the mood changes instantly. You can almost feel it. After years of fear, people finally get permission to breathe, to smile, to speak louder, to step outside without flinching at every sound. But here's the line that makes this last day feel unreal. People are celebrating, while soldiers are still dying. That sentence sounds cold, but it's true. The last day contains two realities at once: cheers and gunfire in the same 24 hours. This is where the story splits into 1,000 smaller stories. Because Germany surrendered sounds like one moment, but in real life, it's 1,000 moments happening at different speeds. Some German units begin surrendering early, not with speeches, not with dramatic music, just weapons lowered, hands up, tired faces. And others keep moving, keep firing, not necessarily because they believe they can win, but because they're still following orders that were written before the surrender was even signed. And sometimes, this is the uncomfortable truth, because someone refuses to accept reality. You know what's scary? The closer you get to the end, the more pointless dying feels, which makes every single shot fired in the last hours feel like a tragedy, even before you know who it hits. Now here's a layer people don't always talk about, but it's crucial. For some soldiers, the last day becomes a race, not to win, but to surrender to the right side. Because surrender isn't just surrender, it's also who you surrender to. And in 1945, that mattered a lot. So you get columns of men trying to move west, not because they want to keep the war alive, but because they're terrified of what happens if they end it in the wrong place. Look, that's when the last day stops being about ideology and becomes about survival. And if you're watching this thinking, wait, so the last day is basically one huge traffic jam of fear? Yes, that's actually a perfect way to describe it. Because you have people moving, not because they love the cause, but because they fear the consequences. And fear is fuel. Fear makes people do strange things. Fear makes people keep going when stopping would be smarter. Fear makes people stop when going would be safer. Now, while all of that is happening on roads and in villages, the ending is still being shaped at the top. Because the surrender is signed once, but there's pressure for another ceremony in Berlin. Same outcome, different symbolism. And here's why that matters. The end of a war isn't only military. It's political, it's psychological. It's who gets to say, "We ended this," and where they get to say it. So while crowds in cities prepare to celebrate, leaders prepare to sign again, and Europe stays trapped in the countdown. Morning of May 8th arrives, and for civilians, it's like the sky changes color. Not literally, emotionally, because the future is allowed to exist again. Street parties, flags, singing, people hugging strangers like their long-lost family. But it's not just joy, it's exhaustion. It's grief finally getting space to breathe. Because for years, grief had to wait in line behind survival. You know what's funny in a heartbreaking way? Sometimes the moment people feel safe They don't celebrate. They just sit down, like their bodies finally stop holding themselves up. And behind every celebration is a quiet truth. The war in the Pacific is still going. So for many people, this isn't the end of World War II. It's the end of the war here. Now this is the part that makes the last day feel like a movie scene that refuses to cut away. The waiting. Because the ceasefire is scheduled 23:01. So the entire day becomes a clock you can feel in your stomach. And here's a weird thing about countdowns. They make people act out of character. They make you bold. They make you reckless. They make you cry over something small because the pressure is leaking out. The closer the clock gets, the more the war feels personal. Because the last day isn't about what nations do. It's about what one scared person does in one chaotic moment. Imagine a checkpoint at night, a road, a truck approaching, men with rifles, exhausted, jumpy, young, old, doesn't matter. Everyone is running on adrenaline and no sleep. And nobody knows if the other side got the message. That's the last day energy. Everyone is waiting for the war to stop, but no one fully trusts it yet. And if you've ever been in a situation where you're waiting for something big, like an exam result or a job interview answer, you know the feeling. It's like time slows down just to annoy you personally. Now multiply that feeling by an entire continent. In headquarters, people count hours. In cities, crowds count minutes. On the ground, soldiers ask the most dangerous question of all. Do we stop now, or do we keep going until the clock tells us to stop? Because stopping early can look like weakness. Continuing can look like madness. And either one can get someone killed in the final hours. This is where the last day becomes emotionally brutal. Because dying early in a war is terrifying. But dying in the last hour of a war, that feels unbearable. Like the universe played a cruel joke. So people cling to signals, radios, watch faces, the sound of someone saying, "It ends tonight." And then there's another strange thing. Even people who hated each other 5 minutes ago can share the same hope in the last hour. The hope that the clock will finally win. Now, let's talk about the 2 days thing for a second, because it's one of those details that makes history feel real. Western countries celebrate on May 8th. Russia celebrates on May 9th because of the time difference and the late timing of the Berlin ceremony. Same ending, different calendar day depending on where you stand. And I don't know why, but that detail always hits me, because it reminds you that history isn't a perfect line. It's lived by people in different places with different clocks. Now we're approaching the final stretch, hour 4, hour 3. The whole day starts to feel like a hallway with a door at the end, and everyone is walking toward it. Some are running, some are limping, some are crawling, but everyone is moving toward it. And you can feel the world narrowing. People stop talking about tomorrow. They talk about tonight. They talk about the minute. Watches, clocks in public squares, radio dials, faces leaning in like the radio is a heartbeat. Hour 1, the countdown becomes physical, like you can feel it in your chest. 2,300 hours. The ticking becomes louder, not literally. emotionally. Then, 2301, cease active operations. And for a moment, Europe steps into silence, not because the continent is healed, but because the killing finally stops. Now here's the part we don't say enough. The end of the shooting war doesn't mean the end of suffering. There's still ruin, trials, displacement, hunger, and millions of lives that can't be returned. But the sound changes, and that sound, that quiet, is what people remember. 80 years later, it's easy to picture the celebrations. It's harder to picture the silence. The kind of silence that doesn't mean peace. It just means the guns are finally quiet enough for people to hear themselves think. And if you've watched this far, I want to ask you something, genuinely. Would you celebrate early, or would you wait for the clock? Comment it, because I read those, and it helps me choose the next story. If you want more World War II stories told like a film, subscribe. Next episode, we open a new chapter. And trust me on this one, it's going to hit.